Well, organically, we'll just do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald. Thank you for that warm welcome again.
I'm going to switch it up one day and it's going to catch you off guard. I want you to know I'm planning, but you never know what's going to come.
Yeah.
So we were talking before this. I don't really know that we were planning on recording today. It's kind of been a little bit since we recorded.
Right.
Because we're making some changes, which is, stuff's happening.
Right.
But we started talking and we just like, man, we have to record this because I think it's really good fodder for the podcast. So do you want to introduce what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So we started talking about where we were taking this and we were doing the planning and stuff. And I got a message because one of the other things I do besides just as a therapist, I also act as a consultant for a EAP. So when an incident happens somewhere in my local area, I get called, are you available to go to this incident and go talk to people and kind of let them know, what to expect through the process of having whatever incident it was. And it could have been a fire, it could have been a layoff, it could have been a shooting, it could have been somebody getting sucked into a machine. It could have been a death or an injury. It could have been anything, right?
Okay.
So something traumatic at their place of employment, and it kind of throws everybody off. We've all had stuff to where we're like, oh God, what do we do from here? And is what I'm feeling okay? And is this normal? Is this so? I go and I help people realize all those things and help them get back to their baseline. And as you know, as an entrepreneur, it is sometimes difficult to see people in positions that ultimately, to mine eyes, seem like prison. And for me to be like, listen, buck up, get back in your cell and keep doing what you're told feels a bit unnatural for me. And I know I've been kind of struggling this last couple of weeks with some existential questions when it comes to my YouTube channel, my day job, my side hustle, my hobbies, all of the things.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of questioning, does that fall in line with who I intend to be? Not who I believe I am, but who I want to be and the life I want to live. And not all of them do. So I'm having to pare down and trim up and do things differently. But it kind of begs the question, because I got the message, can you go? And I was like, no, my wife's out of town. She's going to get back, been gone for several days. I'm going to get one day, and then she has to work on Sunday. So I'm like, our one day we're going to get to spend together be Saturday. And now I'm going to go work it because I'll be gone all day doing it. And I was like, that's too high a price to pay. And then they messaged back, we'll increase and we'll pay you a lot more money to go do it. What's your availability? Are you available? And I'm like, they didn't say what a lot more is. And I don't know that their version of a lot and my version of a lot to hit that cost, so that what they're willing to pay hits the cost that I believe it's going to cost me, because it's costing me an entire week by the time I get to see or spend time doing anything with the wife or the family. So I'm like, I don't know. It would be huge. And then what am I trading for it? I'm trading money. Who cares? But you brought up a good point.
Yeah, this is where we started going back and forth, right?
That's where it derailed the story.
Right. So my perspective was, but someone I know, has wanted to get a new Mac. And, those new Mac minis are really powerful. And it sounds like this one day could almost be enough to pay for the Mac mini. So I look at it, I go, would I be willing to give up, a day of my life to buy this piece of equipment that's going to then help me achieve the things I want to do? But that's when this whole thing derailed.
So it did change it. And so that's where my brain was like, oh, and I kind of shorted, because I'm like, yeah, so what? It's whatever, close to probably around $1,000. And so I'm like, okay, so I would go to work, make the $1,000. $1,000 not worth it to me. Not in one day. Who cares? That's not near enough. However, I make money that pays for our lifestyle, our savings, all of that, but I don't
Right.
have extra play money to throw around $1,000 for that Mac Mini.
Right.
Whereas this would be a side job, a side thing, and so I'm like, I could probably justify that and get that computer.
Yeah.
But then it's like I would have to live with the okay. So psychologically speaking, there are some interplays that come into effect, and that is when I look at the Mac Mini I currently have, which is a little bit older, a little bit outdated. It's still good, but for what I'm wanting to do, I need something now a little bit more powerful, I think.
Yeah.
And that's just to allay my frustration in the length of time, processing power, all that.
Yeah.
But when I look at that Mac Mini that I have now, the story that I have when I'm pushing the power button that plays through my mind every time is I picked that up from doing a side job that I got extra cash for and I bought it from you used. So I got a great
Yeah.
deal on it, which
Right.
I like a good deal. So I
Yes.
got the good deal, bought it, got it for my kid. They used it for the things they were using it for, and they then no longer, they kind of outgrew it. They needed a different computer. So I gave them the PC that I had built because it's more adept for what they're doing. They're doing
Yeah.
art and stuff. And so that with the graphics card thing that was in it, it made more sense. So we traded. And this one's better for doing video. They weren't doing video, so it was working. So I bought it from them and then gave them my old computer, which was kind of fun. So when I look at this computer and I turn it on, the story that
Yeah.
it tells me every time I push the power button is a good one. And I don't know that I want to trade that, even if I get the Mac, the little mini Mac, the one that I want. If every time I turn it on, I go, yeah, that cost me a Saturday with my family and my kid, and we were supposed to go do because we got some plans, some stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but some different fun things we intended to
Yeah.
do. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm selling that out. I go buy a mini Mac later. I could go get whatever I want later. Is it worth the frustration? So now that's interesting because it just changed the definition of the frustration I put up with this mini Mac. That's
Right.
now the price I pay to have the time with my family. So instead of it being a negative, it's turning into a positive. So it's
Right.
really, I know we've talked about this a million times. It's never the thing, it's what it
Right.
means.
Yeah.
And so I can't justify doing something when I don't like what it means.
Mm.
And so, yes, I think I got over the fact where I was like, oh my God, because you kind of brought that up when I was like, no, I'm not going to go and tell these people, get back into your cell.
Yeah.
And you're
Right.
like,
Right.
why are you taking yourself there? Like, I feel like you're projecting your value system onto these people because these employees that are hurting from whatever the incident was, and I don't know what it was. I didn't finish calling in to get it. But whatever their life is, their story, they're living it, and it's their truth. Like, so why would I go in and project mine onto it? And I'm like,
Right.
I think it's
Because
just
you
because
and
I've been in
I,
my own head this last week
yeah.
so much that I kind of got like sort of self-centered, and I need to get back to being, selfless and go back into helping others versus the other. And I'm
Right.
like, you kind of got me thinking to where it was like, oh my God, you're right. I'm not going there to give them answers. I'm going there
Right.
to say, this has been known to help. And what has helped you? You've been through stuff. Maybe not this exact thing, but you've been through things in life that were hard. What did you do to get through those? And does that apply now? Would that help you now? Lean into it. So
Right.
I'd be going to help them through the thing they're trying to get through at this point. It's not for me to project my value system onto them being like, no, where you're wanting to get back to, I don't find it being the best course of action for your life. Who am I to say what's best for them?
Right.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So
Yeah.
I can get myself past that, and I thank you for that. That just took me a few minutes. You telling me like, get out of yourself. But I can't get past that story of the cost it would cost me to do that, which
Yeah.
ultimately ended up turning out okay. I just checked and got a message, and it said we no longer have that somebody else took that.
It's no longer a dilemma.
That job. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the other partners snatched it up. I'm sure at the additional monies that were being poured, out.
Yeah. Well,
So
at the end
now
of the day, all we're doing, we're all
breathe
trading
deeply.
time,
Like I
right?
can
So
because I know the people are being helped. They're not being left alone, which is
Yeah.
okay. So now I can go, okay, this is everything worked out fine. Because I
Right.
don't know too if I could then go. It's like what's more important? It's that ethics thing, the train thing. You got to pull the lever, you kill the 5 people or the one person. Which do you
Right.
do? And it's like it kind of bring me back to that. Like, how many more people would I be helping? Like, my kid still gets to do the stuff with his mom. They still can go to the places and do the fun things. And it's just like, oh, his dad wasn't here. Why? Because he's helping other people get through some hard times. I still feel like that's still a very decent narrative. Like, we
Sure.
could have sold that to him, and I could have sold it to myself.
Well,
But
it
now
is
at
like you
least
said.
it's good because knowing they're being helped. Like, it's a no cost, no brainer
Right.
now. So it's okay.
Well, it's like you said, it's never the thing, right?
Right.
In this case, it's how do you look at it? I mean, that's such a big
Yeah.
part of what we do. Like this is the podcast. It's mindset, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and going back to like that projecting your own, beliefs and
Yeah.
issues and everything onto it, like you and I are the type that, like, I'm personally not, and I wish I was, but I'm not willing to trade 50 weeks a year and 2 weeks of vacation to build someone else's dream. And I think that
Right.
that's something I've known since like early years, of college.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like there's bound to be other people that feel
Oh,
the
no,
complete
yeah.
opposite.
Dude, I
I mean,
talked
maybe
to
they're,
so many people that they're
yeah,
like, "No, I like that. I need that stability, that security,
stability,
that
right?
I go there, I clock in, I do my job, I clock out, I come home." And I'm like, "Ooh, as an entrepreneur, you don't clock out and come home. Like, it's
No,
so much
and I
harder
wish that
because."
I could clock out and turn my brain off,
Uh-huh.
at times, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to put up with the ups and downs, the stress, the free, overwork here, freedom on the other side of that, financially up and down for just the fact that I know that I'm building towards my thing, and I'm like happy to help build other people's dreams along the way. I mean, that's really what my
Uh-huh.
job is. But yeah, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
again, it goes back to like I was mentioning, like this would have been probably my sophomore year of college. Like I wrote a poem. I know that seems like a stretch. But I have an album that's like spoken word poetry and then a few songs that I wrote. We don't really talk about it
Okay.
much. It's not good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it was a project for school. And so I was like, I hate homework. I'm going to make this fun. And so anyway, I wrote a spoken word piece that it was called Where Are You, Superman? And it was the idea that Superman traded in his cape to become Clark Kent full time. And it was
Okay.
not long, but it was like that's when I was probably 20, maybe
Okay.
21. And my belief system was being formed at that point, right? I can look back at
Uh-huh.
that now and go, that's why I am who I am,
Uh-huh.
and why I never made it in the corporate world. I never could. That wasn't the dream. And I'm willing to sacrifice that stability that someone else isn't,
Right.
security for the chance of doing it bigger and better in my way. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all that to say is it's a fun thing to wrestle with because you can
Uh-huh.
almost
Either one. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I swear it's that idea that you can basically talk yourself into or out of everything. It goes back to the and I know I seriously I feel like I beat on the same drum every time. But the way we describe things, define it. The
Mhm.
definition then determines how you feel about it. So if I define it as being more helpful, then I'm like, okay, I can do this. But if I define
Yeah.
it as I'm being deceitful and telling them to do something that I feel is wrong, now it feels
This is
terrible and I can't do it.
yeah.
And so it's like, no, that's ooh. But then
This
it's
is why
like,
like
who am I
pros
to
and
judge
cons
and
lists don't
say
work
like
for me.
right?
Like
Because
because you can
it's
I can I
really
can take a pro and make it a con.
yes. And so this is why when you and I have conversations and you're like, listen, I need to get your opinion on this. I need you to help me with this. And I'm like, cool. What answer are you looking for?
Right.
Because I'm going to help you get to it.
I hate that though. Cause like, I really like, I don't, and that's why we'll have these conversations, right? It's like, I'm not looking for a yes. Please don't agree with me. Just like we have to do with AI, like poke holes in my argument. Right.
Right. Like I can give you all the reasons to do it. And you're like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. And I'm like, cool. And you're like, so you can't think of any reason not to. I'm like, no, I can find a whole bunch.
Yeah, sure.
Here, let me explain why I can counterbalance all of those arguments for with arguments against.
Yeah.
So it's really not, it's about which choice do you want to feel comfortable with? Because your brain's going to do it anyway. As soon as you make the decision, then cognitive dissonance is going to kick in and it's going to smash the bad and overemphasize the good.
Oh my gosh.
Well, once you already know that happens, then it's like, I can do it consciously. I don't have to wait for it to be an unconscious thing that happens. I can consciously do it. Yeah. So then I get to decide which one do I want to do more. And then my brain will help me make it happen. And justify it, basically.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I was just having a conversation before we started talking this morning, just with a friend, mutual friend. We were talking through situations, how easy it is to make bad decisions, and, like convince ourselves that it's the right thing to do. And, at what point as a friend do you hold a mirror up and kind of poke holes in the argument, the justification. But man, I think that's something we do. It's like you kind of make your mind up and then you find all the reasons that will justify your decision to make you feel good about going that direction. Right. Where someone from the outside can look at it and be like,
hang on.
Hey, and so this is not the situation, but this would be the rationale. So,
okay.
Hey, and me as a friend, hey, you're an alcoholic. Maybe you shouldn't be a bartender.
Yeah, I can see that.
I get where you're saying like, oh, but it makes me stronger, right? It's making me stronger because I'm there all the time, and I'm working on that muscle, that resistance muscle, and I'm sure. But I'm just saying, maybe that's not the most pragmatic way to live your life, So anyway.
Yeah,
but we are
agree. I would
so
never
deceiving ourselves.
Somebody who is it. That's like being like, listen, I know you're bleeding, and the chances of you being eaten by a shark are minimal, but go swim in the ocean.
Right. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Like, oh no, I've been swimming in the ocean a lot of times, bloody. I never got eaten by a shark. Okay.
Oh man.
But it doesn't mean you're not gonna. Like, you're still tempting. You're tempting fate. I think the chances of you being eaten by a shark if you're not in the ocean are much, much slimmer. I mean, you're not considering Sharknadoes. But
I was going to say, not zero, though.
Not zero. There's Sharknadoes, right? So, or I don't know. We're flipping through. We've got Apple TV and got a thing up. We're doing it. And it popped up like Sharknado 9 or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I can't believe that was that big. And my wife's like,
I know I've seen 4.
She's like, how did they explain how the sharks got sucked into the tornado? And I go, I don't know. And I don't care. I'm having to imagine it's a hurricane and they get sucked up or the tornado goes over a thing. And either way, ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous. And sometimes you just got to watch a little stupid. Just to, I don't know. They're so bad. Like I said, I've seen the first 4. I know there's a 5th one for sure.
Oh, maybe that's.
And I think they get progressively worse.
Way more than I was like, wow.
But it's at the same time, if it's free to watch, quote unquote free, right?
Yeah.
There are times where you just can't find something to watch, and it's like, well, that's in front of me. I've been looking for something to watch for 30 minutes. All right, Sharknado 3, here we go. Well, hey, let's catch up before we wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Because again, we weren't really planning on doing something. I mean, we were talking direction, where we think we're going to go, but which is good stuff. Again, like why are we here? We want to bring you, listener,
value.
We want to bring you value, right? And so this conversation just felt like it was a valuable conversation. But let's catch up on being Bernard. I want you to kind of catch us up where you're at. And then I have something to tell you that I haven't told you.
Okay. So, all right. So this week, not near as much movement on the channel as before. I think we the last couple of times we had talked, lots of movement. I was gaining subscribers, like views, like it was promote. It was going heading up.
How many episodes are you at
now? The long form, 12.
Wow.
11.
Nice.
10, 11 or 12. Somewhere in
that. I think
neighborhood.
The last time we talked about it on the podcast, you were around like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think I'm 11.
Okay.
So far. And the last time we had really talked about it, I just made the shift to doing all of the characters myself and doing all of that.
Yes.
So that was working really well. Really started to spike up and going crazy. And I got some advice that was from multiple places. And one of the places was a Reddit group for new YouTubers. And I kind of got into an echo chamber where they were like, absolutely, man, this is what you got to do. You got to do this. You got to do it. And so I did it. And then I was like, that didn't work like I thought. And I went back and then kind of re-asked that question in Reddit. And then a bunch of other threads came up being like, don't do it. This is why. And I'm like, that's exactly what I found. And that is the best analogy I can come up with is I'm trying to design and develop a steakhouse with big porterhouse steaks or tomahawk steak. It's a steak house. You sit down, you eat the steak, you eat the potato, you eat the salad, you sip the glass of wine, you enjoy yourself, nice and slow. Right. And everybody's like, those are long form videos. There's not a lot of people that are that hungry that want to take that time. I know, but that's who I'm looking for. And they were like, the way to do it to generate an audience is shorts.
Yeah.
Which really, I was going to say like hamburger and fries, but it's really more like a corn dog, right? Like it's really fast food. It's cheap.
It's drive through.
But tasty. There's a market for it. There is a place for it.
Yeah. But
the person who's interested in eating a corn dog, every time I put out corn dogs, they're like, heck yeah. Yep. And then I offer them a steak. They go, no, thanks. And they move right past, which means it tanked my channel. It absolutely tanked it for the audience I was looking for. Everybody kept saying, no. Shorts is the key to building an audience. And that is absolutely true if you're trying to build an audience for shorts.
Yeah.
You don't feed people corn dogs or burgers if you're trying to sell steaks. You sell steaks or steak bites. And so I have noticed that the steak bites tend to work as shorts. They don't get near as many because, like, if you're walking past a place and they're like, hey, we're giving away corn dogs or we're giving away a steak bite on a toothpick, you go, I'll take corn dog. But people that really like steak go, I'm considering buying the steak, but is it worth it? And then they eat it and they go, yeah, I'll watch it.
Right.
And then they get the steak.
Yeah.
So I have found I do get click-throughs from the snippets. Whenever I can do a good enough snip in a 15-second clip and grab the joke and the punchline and I end it properly. And then I word it right and I title it right and I do all the extras. Then it seems to get me a couple of click-throughs, and then I'll gain from those click-throughs, I'll gain subscribers. And I think those are genuine steak enjoyers.
I would agree.
This last week, I did 0 shorts and my views plummeted to next to nothing. It's a handful in the long form videos, but for the most part, not much. And that's okay because I'm done trying to gather up an audience of short viewers.
Right.
And I found too that they will watch them. I'll put out new shorts. They'll watch them and everything goes up real big, but it's not leading to any views on the long form video content. Right. And when I do put out a long form video content, it gets nothing because it goes out to all the audience that's looking for corn dogs. So they don't even see the steak pop up. They're like, nope. They're just looking for the shorts. They're just watching shorts. So when that pops up, they don't watch it, which then tells the algorithm, even his audience doesn't like his stuff. So don't promote it.
Right.
And so I don't want that anymore. So I almost need to figure out a way to kick off the audience.
Well, just keep feeding them those bites of steak, right?
So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to double down on that. And I'm hoping,
because then you're serving both audiences.
within the next couple of weeks, the people that were just subscribing for just the little quick, funny, intentionally designed separate shorts will go, hey, I'm making what I want, get them off my feed, and then
Right. Right.
erase me, basically.
Yeah. Because if they don't
And
enjoy
so,
those little snippets, then they can swipe past it.
yeah, then I
And then
don't
it
want
will
them
stop
there.
showing them to them.
Yeah. And so that's the hope. So that's where I'm at with this channel. And I'm also, I think, going to be, I don't know if you watched the last one, but the last one at the end of each episode, I hint at the next
Right.
episode, the next client, the next something. And so in the next one, I am hiring a receptionist.
Okay. Yep.
That I'm calling a perceptionist, and they are psychic, and
That's the one I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah.
they think they can give away advice better than the therapist. So that is an attempt, I think. We'll see how it works, and if not, I'll fire them, and then they'll just be gone. But it's an attempt to broaden the storyline for the videos, so it's not all just in session therapist, in session jokes.
Right.
Because
so you don't have to
but
be
I
a
can
therapist to get it.
yes.
Yeah.
And so
it
it'll
feels a little bit
broaden it a
broader.
little bit and
Yeah.
give me a little bit more breadth in the script.
Yeah.
And it should allow for a little bit more cinematic attempts and play on the videos themselves. I do have a little bit of news,
Sure.
which I found exciting. So the last one I did, I think I told you I did the close-up shot. I did I filmed it 3 ways and then did it. And so I tried to, each time I do it, I try and add more value, more something, get better at it.
Right.
And so I did that. I worked on the jokes a little bit. I thought some of them were decent. And my wife said she watched it because she's good. She's a dutiful wife, and she watches them. And she will never like or comment, but she will say, I watched it.
Yeah.
It's not for me. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
And this last time she said, I watched it and I chuckled once. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, was it on this joke? And she's like, no, this joke. No, this joke. No. And I was like, was it the one where, I can't tell if you're mocking me or helping? And she was like, that was the one. Because that's exactly, if I was your client, that's what I would have said. And so then it made me laugh. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
I remember that joke. That was a good one.
Yeah. And so I thought, all right, this is good. So anyway, I have been trying so hard to get her to laugh. She laughs at my jokes, my sense of humor so much. And for her to not get anything, and I'm like, oh, that's because this is a completely separate chapter in my life. One, strangely, that I'm not allowed to talk to you about.
Right.
So because I can't go home and be like, oh, you'll never believe who I talked to today and what they had to go. I can't do that.
Right.
And so I compartmentalize, and it's a completely separate compartment of my life. that's totally separate.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. I don't go home and be like, and she made me make her the promise. I think we've had this conversation before. She made me make the promise back when I was in school, which, I mean, ethically I'm supposed to do anyway, is that I can never therapize her. I can't ever therapy our relationship. I can't nothing. It's completely compartmentalized. This is professional me. This is personal me.
Yeah.
That is not to say I don't use the lessons that I
was going to say.
No,
yeah.
I use them over here, but I use them on me, not on her.
Oh, okay. That's very altruistic of you.
Yeah.
I can tell you as a recovering only child that I do my best to not manipulate those around me. But if I was left to just my own, I would, it's actually harder to not manipulate than it is to manipulate. So
I have never been embarrassed to share that I am a reluctant therapist because I didn't want to be a therapist. Like, I didn't start psychology classes to become a therapist.
Okay.
I started psychology classes to learn to manipulate people better. I've
Nice.
always known I'm decent at manipulating people, and I wanted to be good at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
This is why
so
I want you to
that's
write
why
a
I
book.
went.
That's why I want you need your own book that's just like the psychology of selling, right? We've talked about this for a
Uh,
long, long time.
yeah.
It would be great because
I I
because
feel
of
like
those the trainings and your background, and you're just so good with people and
you
bending
know
them to
what?
your will.
Let's what if what if we were to write the book,
Okay.
co-author it,
Yeah.
and we co-author it as a interview with a vampire?
Okay.
Like, you're
Yeah.
interviewing me, asking all of the questions, I will answer them because we do well in that. But for me
In the
to
back and
just sit
forth.
down and go, "Here's what you need to know." I am not that person. I am very
Sure.
much the person, "In this situation, what would you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I tell you what I would do. This is the way I would do it."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But I'm very much not the person to where it's like, "What would you do if you walked into the room and there were people there?" I'd be like, "I would scan. I
Hmm.
would read the room, and then I would do what I should."
Okay, I know you're somewhat familiar with the Enneagram, but what's your number? Do you know?
No, I've never taken it.
Okay.
We've been talking about it on Remind. You're supposed to have it, somebody who did the whole thing and put it up
Yep.
and do it, and I've never done it.
I would guess you to be a 3. That's
Okay.
just my thought.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there, just because of the thing you just said. But so yes,
Oh,
I'm in on that. I'm in on the book, and
okay.
we need to I know you're making some adjustments to the book we're currently working on, which
Yes, yes, yes.
that is happening, and we are getting closer
Mhm.
and closer to that being um, tangible.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, so we're just coming off of being Bernard stuff. I
Yes.
had the weirdest dream last night, and
Okay.
it does relate. But
Okay.
this character, we're kind of watching Bernard unravel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I had this weird dream that you'd been out of town or something, and I think my family and I were out grabbing dinner somewhere, and you
Okay.
just happened to show up because you were like, uh, you really liked the muffins there or something, and you were
Okay.
wearing a robe, like just a robe, you know, and you were
Like a
like,
bath.
"Oh, hi," and you like grabbed some muffins, like, "Oh, I just had to get some." But then there were some more things that happened in that dream, but it was really like watching you unravel, because it was like you're walking around the middle
Yeah.
of the day in a robe, and you're like, "I had to get the muffins." It was I know that's neither here nor there, but it was
Uh-huh.
really like
Yeah.
I woke
I'm
up and I
very
was like,
much
"Oh my
not a
gosh, he's becoming Bernard."
right. I'm very much not a robe person. So that would be an instant red flag. If you see me in a robe, go ahead and check me into something because
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I love it. Well,
man.
I wanna share a little bit of what's going on with me,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
deep, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
But, you know, uh, we talked a little bit about this, last week between us, not on the podcast and stuff. For those that don't know, regardless of whether or not we put out a podcast, Aaron and I are talking, because that's kind of actually where the podcast came from. So
Mhm.
we're not always prepared to bring value, and sometimes we just have to like share the things that we're going through and the things we're working on. And so that also is why the podcast devolves into an ADHD episode, like
Quite often.
um
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. So squirrel. But I have moved, and I want to talk a little bit about this from your perspective, but you're watching me move from unconsciously incompetent to
Uh-huh.
consciously incompetent. And the reason I
Right.
say incompetent is because while I have for years and years and years helped people with their businesses, build their businesses in different ways, it started with just like business cards, and then it was websites, and then, full marketing plans, all that stuff.
Right.
Never done it for myself. And I've had this moment of just eyes wide open and seeing, it's basically someone held a mirror up to me, not in a mean way or anything like that. It was just kind of like, so what are you doing, with to grow your business? I'm like, Nothing. That's what I'm doing. And they're like, well, what, like, so what's not working? I'm like, well, nothing's not working. I'm just not doing it. Right. And then it, the conversation went to like in the last 21 years of being in business. I mean, I put together a flyer once. It was a great flyer. I've had business cards. Those were good for when people ask for them. But just always been sent referrals. And I think that hopefully that speaks to quality of work and people trusting me and referring people to me. But I've never been in control. And so I'm 46. I'll be 47 in the next couple of weeks, and I'm done. And I'm a little mad, not at the world, but at myself. Like, this whole time, I should be doing these things for myself and taking control and scaling and all the things. Like, I've actually scaled down on purpose because I've tried to automate things and not have to rely on employees and that kind of stuff. And that is a way to scale. But anyway, it's been a really good journey the last couple of weeks for me personally. But my gosh, I'm sick of it and I'm not going to do it anymore. Right.
Yes.
Like, and I think part of it is I'm a pretty content person. And I feel like I don't want to be the person that's motivated by money. I don't want to be the person that's motivated. Like, I don't want to be greedy.
I can help you with that.
But I need, where do
you
find
need
your
money?
motivation?
Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously need money to be, but I'm not like, I mean, yes, the middle-aged man in me wants a Corvette, but I'm not materialistic in that sense where it's like, well, then I'm going to do this and do this. And I just don't see, even if I had the money, I wouldn't buy a Corvette.
Right.
If I had the cash sitting there, I would be like, I can do better things with this.
Right. But and so you wouldn't do that anyway.
It's not even about the money. It's about, let's say, the talent, right? I want to grow this so that it just gets bigger. So I'm a better, like, I don't know, a better steward, better manager of this talent, of these funds, of whatever. I want to do a better job. And also, I mean, that will impact my family, and that's definitely a big part of it, right? But I don't want to, I don't have to be number one, but I do have to be the best me. And I have not been doing the best job for myself. I just give, and I've said this before on the podcast, it's probably a character flaw. But I'm always willing to work harder for someone else than for me, which is why I have partners. That's been my hack. So that I have someone to keep me accountable.
You have to figure a way to make it work. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's actually one of the things I've been changing is I work on my stuff first thing. When I sit down on my desk, I start working on my stuff. And then I do the client work and the partner work later on in the day. And it has been stretching into the evening in the last 6 weeks or so, especially Mondays. Mondays have been very long. But I am willing to put in those longer hours then because it's for someone else and I'm accountable and I have to do it. Whereas if it were a Monday at 4:30 and then I'm going to start working on my stuff, no, I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it.
So I feel like a little bit of me, like I'm laying on the couch right now, but I'm not looking for any kind of validation or anything. I'm just kind of like, I'm drawing a line in the sand. Like I have to do this. And so I think part of what we're going to see on the podcast is that evolution,
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So sorry.
Yes, I agree. CJ, you do suck. That's what I heard you say. I just want you to,
I grabbed a piece of the conversation. I held on to it for a moment and give me a second because I knew there was something I wanted to, as soon as I have to let it go, put it back. So you touched on the fact that you've never done anything in marketing. You've never marketed yourself because you're getting word of mouth.
Right.
And I have a new way because everybody's always said best advertising word of mouth. Like that is the creme de la creme. Everyone should be looking for that. That is what you want
for quality.
And I would say that I have another way of defining it or describing it is that is one of the most individually selfish things you could do with your talent. And that is to say that I only offer it to people who know people I know.
Right.
So you're keeping it hidden, keeping it secret. And I say that because with the thing that I've been doing, trying to help therapists like get their visibility out there. And they're like, well, yeah, I've never needed to do it. I only work with great. How unfair is it that somebody who needs your services
Right.
it isn't available because they don't know it exists. They don't even know how to find you. You could be the best person to help them, but they can't find you
Right.
because they don't know someone you know.
Yep.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Right? So you owe it to them to at least post a flag.
Yeah.
So not everyone needs to see your flag, which is
Right.
interesting. If you've seen those flags that say barber, if you're not looking to get your hair cut, you don't notice those flags.
Right.
Until you know you're looking for a barber and you go, oh, I didn't know there was a barber there. When did they put that flag out? And why is it so tattered? Because it's been there for 3 years. You've just never noticed it. I'm not telling you to put a neon sign across the street and make everybody walk through it.
Yeah.
But at least post your flag. Put up your sign.
Yeah.
You owe it to the people that are looking for what you're offering because they're out there suffering. Okay, granted, they're business owners and they're wanting to go from, let's say, 1 million to 5 million, but they're still suffering. I mean, how many more employees could they hire? How many more people could their product go to? How much bigger a difference could they make in the market, in the world, and for their family, for however many other families? So really, I see where you're going. But when you think to yourself, maybe I shouldn't advertise because you know what? I'm not that selfish.
Right.
Okay, well, let's redefine selfish. Selfish is keeping to yourself the knowledge that you hold, that you have, that you know could be helping other people. What would be selfless is to share it.
Right.
Now, you only have so much time, so you have to charge for it. So it makes sense. So you're going to have to make some money. There's no way around that. You're going to have to make money because everything comes at a cost. You're taking away time from your family, from your free time, from your hobbies, from stuff you love to help other people. Great. Get paid for your services. Get paid for your help.
Yeah. Well, and I do want to scale.
It's worth it. So
yeah.
And then ultimately build it in a way to where it doesn't take up all of your time later. Great. And you need money for that because it takes a machine to scale. Because if you're not the one doing it, then it takes something else to do it for you. You need money for that. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It's a lever. So it'll allow for that. So yeah, I think of it a little bit different. We all want referrals for sure. You're going to help those people because how do you not help someone you know gave your name to them? You're like, I have to help you. Come on. But let's not just be like, I'm only going to help people I know. That's a little bit nepotistic. I don't think that's a word. But
I know what you're trying to say though.
But yeah, so let's post a flag. You know what I mean? Put it out there and let's go.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why I had to rant on that, but when I heard you say it, I thought, man, I just went through that this week.
Right.
I just wrestled with that idea because it is true. You do marketing, you help people get out there. And I'm doing the same thing. I want to help people put your name out there and go for it. And then they're like, what have you done? And I'm like, well, first of all, Google my name. I've done 100 things. I own the first, if you were to type my name, Aaron Gerald, into Google, I got the first, 8 pages, right? You don't even need 8 pages. You just need the first 3 things. Nobody looks past the first 3 things anyway.
Right.
But if they're looking for something, so what do you want to rank for? Okay, that's a little bit different. And because I've done so many things that I'm a little bit more whitewashed. So yes, I've done movies. Yes, the video channels, the coaching, the teaching, the courses. There's 100 things. So when you look it up and you look up Aaron Gerald's courses, then it's going to bring up a whole page. Aaron Gerald's YouTube, bring up a whole page and multiple channels. If you look up Aaron Gerald's therapy, it's going to pull up a bunch of stuff. If you look, so it's still going to do it, but you still have to look it up by my name.
Yeah.
Because I'm not big enough and I want to teach people how to do it, but I'm like, also, I don't know that I want to be found for it. And so I was like, what do I really want to be found for if somebody's searching for something besides my name?
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, then maybe I need to do that so that I can tell them, listen, I know you're saying, man, we look you out, you got all this stuff. Yeah, because I want people to know, what does Aaron Gerald do? Oh, all of these things. He's a well-rounded person. Right.
Yeah.
But if they're looking up, how do I get found as a therapist in, near me? Who do I look for? Coach to help me get found or to find. Okay, then I want to come up for that.
Right.
But most therapists don't know that because they feel like they need to stay hidden. They've got plenty of word of mouth. And so they feel like they're doing the best they can and then wondering why they can't fill those last 5 spots on their roster, on their schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, those 5 spots, there are people looking for you and they don't know, they can't find you is the problem.
Right.
And you would be loving to help them, but you're like, yeah, I don't want to be out there and be therapist in Omaha near me because I'm going to get a bunch of people I don't want to be trying to help anyway. I know. But the ones you actually do want to help, what are you doing to help them find you?
Right.
And so I think that's the niche. So yes, I think if you're going to go out and say, man, I'm doing it and I can help you do all of these things. And they go, well, what have you done for yourself? And you're like, I'm too busy doing stuff for other people.
Right.
Okay.
And that's kind of where it's been.
Yeah. You have to, in order to get clients, you have to become a really skilled hunter. And I don't think you need to be a hunter. What you're offering is so valuable, you can be a magnet.
Yeah.
But only if you put out the energy for it.
Right. I mean, I
spend the energy attracting instead of the energy hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it comes down to legacy. Like, I obviously want to live my life in a way where I'm remembered like fondly, not like, oh God, that guy was
okay.
And obviously, like, you're gonna look, everyone's a bad guy in someone else's story.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, that's just, that's just how it is. But outside of my family, like, I'd like to, maybe impact some lives in a positive way. Right. So it's like even therapists. I mean, it's one thing to fill up those final 5 slots you have in your week, but what if you then could take that and you had way too many people coming in and you had to like hire another therapist, right? Then you have 4 therapists and you're booking all of that. Like, think of the good that you'd be doing in that situation versus just what you're doing on your own. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it too. And that's why I said I want to scale. I've been intentionally avoiding scaling for a long time because I've been so micro. I've been focused on the micro. What is the least I can do that I can automate, Yep. And that sounds lazy and maybe it is a little bit.
It might
but and I even then with like that wanting to help people build their businesses and like that being my impact, that still seems awfully selfish to me because then it comes back to like me. So
your impact?
Yeah, my impact. Exactly. But at the end of the day, like if people's lives are better, that's what I want to focus on. Not like that people look at me and go, oh, that guy, patting me on the back,
Sure.
attaboy. So I think,
yeah.
And that's where this podcast comes from too, right? Where I have been at the height and the depth of success,
right?
Good and bad. I've had years that we had a 75% reduction year over year in income, or revenue coming into the business. I think that's happened. Holy hell. Talk about like ups and downs, right? So it is. And I'm still here. Right. So like I wanted to be able to like dig into things, share people's stories, which is why when we're interviewing people, it's not even just about the stories anymore. It's like, what can we learn from you? Right. What kind of like, what are the things that we can learn to do a better job? And I think that that's the stuff that's really exciting right now. But again, it's impact, like just hearing, we haven't released the episode yet, but like Eric, not Eric Yoon, but SEO Eric, and like his journey and how he ended up in SEO. And like, he never intended to go into SEO or into web design or anything. And he left us with some very valuable things that we can do. Right. And so that is exciting to me because I mean, I got something out of it. You got something out of it. And then every person that listens to the podcast or watches the clips that we're going to release on social media in perpetuity, like that's out there on the internet. And it might be 2 years before someone sees one of those clips, but they might have gotten something out of it. Now in SEO, things might have changed and everything, but I don't know. That to me is really exciting. And I think that's my heart is what can we do, again, to bring value, to impact people's lives for the better. But anyway, I'm done I'm off the couch.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it. You know what? It is tough because I constantly wrestle with myself being like, I do things that I enjoy. Like because here's the problem. When I describe the Minding Your Business podcast as a hobby, then it's just fun.
Right.
But then I think, if we're going to take it serious, it needs to be taken serious like a business.
Yeah.
In which point it's like, well, it's not making any money. This is just an outpouring of energy and time and resources and whatever for nothing. And then I'm like, no, for no financial return, not for nothing. Like really the way we describe it ultimately defines how we feel about it. And I go all the way around, just circle, circle, circle.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult because it's like, I only have so many hours. You're right. And I need to make money with that. And I will admit, I'm one of the first people to be like, I don't want to scale my therapy business. I have enough.
Right.
I don't want to I don't want to go higher because I got to work more hours and I'm not interested in that. I have a few openings that fall through the day, but I'm like, I love those minutes of, peace and clarity. But at the same time, like it makes sense. I should probably try and earn a little bit more money. That would free up more time later and offer more things, more options. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Every time I think about something else to do, like doing the stuff, the incidents, and I'm like, there's a way to do it where I can choose to or not to. It's not like, no, I've opened another day of therapy. Now I'm stuck with those clients all day. Yeah. I can choose to take that day and work, or I can choose not to. So that to me seemed like a better fit. But also, I don't get to choose when those hours are. They come up at the most inopportune times all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. And so they're a sacrifice anyway. So it's like, I'm going to have to sacrifice one way or the other.
Yeah.
So what makes more sense? And so it's that decision, that internal struggle.
Yeah.
Internal, both.
It's both. Yeah.
Both track. So it's that struggle that I'm having to go through all the time. And I kind of like the idea of documenting this struggle, whether it helps obviously I want to do it for my kids, but whether or not my kids ever watch it is fine because someone else's kid might.
And it gives
everybody's a kid. Everybody's a kid of somebody but let's say that because I just look and I think to myself, dang, like I don't have anything of my grandfather. I don't have anything of my father. I don't have it. There's no videos. I don't get to hear what went on in their head. I was too young to have those conversations, those meaningful conversations anyway. Yeah. And, now the opportunity's gone. And so I'm like, dang. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave that. My kids may never have that desire. But if they don't, great. At least I've given them the option.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't say, man, it would have been nice if we would have had. Yeah, okay, go back and listen. And then hopefully the stuff coming out of my mouth isn't all bad.
Well, if it's not valuable, maybe it's at least entertaining, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping. So that it's just not all bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
I know too. Oh man, I just listened to a recent, we'll get off, but I just listened to a recent podcast from Huberman Labs, and it was the guy named DJ. He was an ex-Navy SEAL. Holy smoke, man. His outlook, granted, he did some experimental things that aren't legal in the United States yet to get through some PTSD and some other things he's going through, but he had a lot to work through. He was a Navy SEAL. But anyway, he said like he'd compartmentalized things in his life and he was a terrible father, terrible husband. And he's like, but now I can beat myself up every day for the rest of my life and not be any better than I was.
Right.
Or from today on, I can earn my seat at the table.
That's it.
Family.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those weights that hits me. And I'm like, man, I know better, but I do spend way too many, probably at this point, minutes during the day beating myself up for things
Yeah.
that I did and not concentrating on what I can do.
Right.
And so I want to lean more into not who I am as a result of the things I've done. It's who do I want to be and what do I need to do to emulate that? And so
Right.
that's where I'm at. And I know we've had some talks about that and we've kind of talked about it a little bit off the air, but that's where I'm at. So anybody and everybody watching, they're going to get to watch that journey. I think for both of us, I think we're both kind of going through, maybe it's a midlife crisis.
It's midlife crisis. That's yeah.
Let's hope it's midlife, right? Ooh,
I
if
hope.
it's
Yeah.
midlife, I'm gonna live to be 100.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
and
I
then
think
just to catch everybody up, I know we're leaving, but boom, I got my brown belt yesterday in Hapkido.
did you really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It
Nice.
was
What do you
I'm
have to do to get the brown belt?
definitely the oldest person in class. It's a culmination of everything I've learned up to this point. So I've hit the black belt training because now I'm at I got to go through 2 levels of brown belt. That takes about a year, and then 2 levels of red belt. That takes about another year.
Is there a
but now
specific
it's
test you have to do or something like that, or
yeah.
like
Now
for
it's
the
a lot
actual?
harder tests. So yeah,
Okay.
I had to take the much harder one where we had to learn all of the different moves. So we're doing kick blocking and then all the grabs, all the locks. I had to do a lot of them. And then we're now starting to learn flow. So with the water theory, like it's not just doing the movement. It shouldn't be jarring. It needs to flow and you need to be breathing and relaxed
Yeah.
through it and so forth. And so in order to do that, we got tested. Me and one other guy got tested in black belt training this Thursday. And we had to do not blindfolded because we just had to keep our eyes closed, but you had to close your eyes and then you were attacked. And then you had to perform the moves without
Wow.
being able to see what you were doing.
That's
And so
crazy.
you had to do it all by feel. And it really changes things.
I bet.
But it also really focuses your mind because I recognized at that point I'm looking down at the ground a lot when my eyes are open so I can see feet placement and whatever for my balance. And when my eyes are closed, I have to just feel it. And you really get a much stronger sense of if you're being pulled off balance and then how to pull them off balance.
Yeah.
But they're not going to start teaching. He said, I'm not going to teach you that until you've learned the basics and the fundamentals and all the stuff. And then you get good at them. And so I'm absolutely not good at them. I'm not trying to spin a story here. But it is interesting to get to the point where you start to feel like, man, I think I'm getting pretty good at this. And then you get immediately shown, okay, here's what you know. Now here's all of what you don't know.
Right.
And you're like, and so what you know now is like, you learned letters. Now we're going to teach you what letters are used for. Yeah. Reading and writing words. And then you're like, oh, and then once you learn that, then it's like, now we're going to teach you the ways to write and how many different ways there are to write. Yeah. And then how many so there's like levels and levels and levels of stuff.
Oh, sure.
That, keep it interesting. It gives me a challenge. I enjoy the challenge both physically and mentally, emotionally, sometimes pushing through, which is pretty interesting. So I can tell you I'm in better physical shape than I've been. And I would say probably better mental shape than I've been. So anyway, it's fun. I enjoyed talking to you, and you didn't even mention you're working out and you're playing guitar and all the other stuff you're doing to
I'm doing the same. I mean, I'm on a journey.
But
like you can see, it's right within reach. I've been a guitarist for a long time, but
but the difference in this year's journey.
Well, and I think it's the same thing. This is some kind of midlife crisis probably, but I've played guitar for a long time. I've been in bands and those kinds of things. However, I am now going through, and a friend of mine is teaching me music theory, and he's teaching me. I always knew the blues scale. Not that I could play it. I knew the blues scale because another friend taught it to me. But I think I know 4 different scales. And today it's called the caged method. Okay. So it's nothing to do with Nicolas Cage, for the record. So there's no TM. But anyway, it makes my brain hurt, and it is a challenge, and it makes my fingers hurt too, because I have played my
Mhm.
guitar more in the last 6 weeks than probably the last 10 years. I mean,
Okay.
crazy. Maybe not that long, but definitely the last 6 years.
Okay.
And I'm on the same journey where it's something that I felt proficient in. I now realize
Right.
how bad, how not
Now
good
you
I
yeah,
really
and
am.
it's well, I love the way we are onions, and each thing is a layer that
Layers.
reflects the
Yeah.
another layer that's similar, and it's that conscious incompetence
Yeah.
again because you're
Again.
like, I'm now becoming aware of how little I know about playing guitar. I thought I was, but now, and so yeah, I like that it's just all the same. It's like the when you start to get an epiphany, and then it reflects on all these
Yeah.
other areas of your life where you're like, oh, it isn't so separate after all.
Right. Well, and this even
So
goes back into like mindset. Like I knew one way, maybe two. I could probably tell you there were two ways that I knew how to play a G chord. Well, I now know six. And it's
okay,
all a G because it only takes really three notes to make a chord. And
okay,
it depends on which notes you're picking and all it like, but
right.
it's all how you look at it. And so now I'm looking at my fretboard and it's like blowing my mind. I'm literally there have been
So
times where
different.
I've had to ask my friend Michael, I'm like, "Can you stop? I need a minute." Because like I'm not dumb, but I'm having a hard time grasping this. And then it's like I have to ask questions.
Mhm.
And then it's like, "Yes. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, okay." And then I need a minute to just kinda like let that simmer because that like there's
Mhm.
implications. And
Ah,
so all of wrapping all of that in, up, it's like why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I'm trying to be a famous musician someday? No. I'm doing
right,
this because I'm trying to level up me on the whole. I'm
right.
working out, I'm cycling now, I'm trying to put better things in my body. I'm trying to watch the things that I put in my body beyond just like macros, but like the chemicals. Um,
Right.
I'm trying to get better at music. I'm trying to get better at business because CJ, on the whole, I want to be a better version of me. And I
Right.
like it's not just one thing. There have been times in my life where it was just one thing. It was just working out, or it was just
Mhm.
business for a long time. It was just
Right.
work, and sacrificing, some
Everything
of my
else.
personal
Mhm.
life, right?
Right.
So this is not that. I'm trying to find the balance. It is
Uh-huh.
incredibly difficult, and there's no one day where it actually all balances out. But over the span
Right.
of time, I think it's
It
balancing
you
out.
get an
So
average. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the key.
One thing I did want to say, just like
Sure.
about the podcast and because it's your time and it's my time and you're not even willing to give up your time tomorrow for a lot of money, more money than they would
Right.
normally give, right? And
Right.
so I want to tell you I appreciate you being a part of this. And for me, this really is about investment in
Mhm.
us, right? Because
Yep.
this is a foundation for the next things. Like we're already writing one book. We're now talking about a second book. I have a third one,
Mhm.
an idea, written down.
Okay.
But and our lives will impact other people, and I think that
Mhm.
that's worthwhile. So, again, this comes down to bringing value. So right now in this, one moment, being able to bring someone value. Like we may never meet those people. We may never have a
Right.
conversation with those people. But
Right.
there's something about that. And I don't know, man. It's I wouldn't want to do this alone. I'm just not very good at doing things by myself, right? I want to be on a team. I want to be a part of something bigger than me. And I appreciate you
I
being
was
a
gonna
part
say,
of
I
this
think you're
with me.
good at it. I just think it doesn't bring the same joy.
That's it. That's it. I'm
It's
fine.
not as
I'm fine
enjoyable.
working by myself and doing the things, but it doesn't bring the same level of satisfaction. So
At
anyway,
even remotely. I can tell
no.
you that for sure. I did grow an online business by myself for an entire year.
Yeah.
Then we did the co-hosting thing and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what was I doing? What
Yeah.
was I doing?" But it didn't matter. I committed to do it and I like to commit myself to do hard things. It
Right.
doesn't seem like it should be that hard. A weekly thing you get on for a few minutes and you talk, but it's so hard. at times. And I mean, you have to force yourself, but it's easy
Especially in the
for me to
beginning.
come here and be like, oh no, at 11 o'clock on Fridays, we do our thing.
Yeah.
That's easier. Sunday night at 9 p.m. when I'm already in bed and I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't get to it. Oh, I got to do it on Sundays and I didn't do it. And I got to get out of bed now. I don't want to do that. And it's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's some value in getting up anyway and doing it. Which is why last week I set my alarm. I've done pretty good. I only did 3 days, but I also know I'm old and I got to pace myself. So I've worked out 3 days in the last week in the mornings.
Nice.
And I'll do 3 days probably next week, and then 4 days the following, and then 5 the following, and then I'll be at 5 days a week from then on.
How do you feel about cycling?
I do not enjoy the bicycle seat.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Well, if I can,
and it may just be because I don't have the proper
you gotta have the right equipment.
Something like, and I just have cheap hand-me-down bikes from yard sales that other people have gotten rid of, and they're half dog chewed and whatever. And so maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that like it has unlocked a different part of my personality. Like I kind of enjoy the pain, you know. Anyway, we can get you on Zwift and we could actually ride together or in groups. We could, you know, anyway, it's a whole thing.
Do it online something. Okay. I'll have to think about it. We've got a bike shop here in town that I like to buy stuff from local if I can, little places. And there's a cool little local bike shop. They're like clearancing out everything because they're moving to a little bit bigger facility, but they don't want to take all the stuff that they have at this one to the other one. So they're selling some stuff. We considered getting my son a little bit better bike. Cost of bikes. We'll probably have to do a few incidents to get some bikes.
Oh man, but see that's the investment in him,
I can see do that. I'll redescribe it as affording our ability to get some bikes to spend more time together, so I can sacrifice some time for more time.
Exactly.
And so okay.
So I don't know. I think this is actually, it may have been the last one. I don't know, but I think this is number 50.
Oh, congrats!
So we have done 50 podcasts.
50 episodes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's a little nuts. I think that we have a change coming around the corner, a good change. But I don't want to announce it because, you know,
no, let's not say it. Don't say it.
So, and I'm sure like everyone's sick of us saying that too. Like they keep talking about
well, but wait until you hear. Yeah, it's not that. Don't even come back and listen for it. No, don't. Yeah. How about that? There, we'll get rid of the don't fear missing out BS. It isn't that. It's I don't want to taint it because oftentimes we'll have this amazing idea and then by the time it comes time to execute it, it's shifted enough that people would go, that wasn't your original idea. And it's like, it was an evolution. Yeah, it's a chicken. We were talking about it as an egg and then it became a chicken and now it's hatched. So now we're ready. Right. And they're like, but it's not in the shell. And it's like, oh my gosh. So that's probably it's probably my ADHD. We can't talk about it till we have a finalized.
Yeah. Well, that's it because, well, there's also something about like you just talking about it is gives you the same joy as doing it. So we have to do it or we won't. If we just talk about it, we won't do it. Right.
Correct.
So
anyway. Yeah. So
all right, man. Well, not bad for a day that we weren't necessarily planning on doing a podcast. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
We've done
I'll tell you what, it definitely helped me to kind of talk through what we had started talking and I was thinking my brain was spinning 100 miles an hour and I feel better about it. And I feel better maybe because it spun fast enough to spin my ego out. And I'm like, this isn't about me. But I did sort of get sucked into that this last week. Because
it's easy to do.
You know, I think there's a little bit of a risk in introspection. And that is you're introspecting on yourself for so much that you become your focus of you. And then you start to think everything's about you.
Yeah.
Because you're asking yourself, how does this affect me? What is this for me? What is this? What do I feel about this?
Right.
And I had to get back out of my head. So I appreciate it. This will be a much better weekend.
We all need someone, right? Like whether it's to talk to someone for counseling or just having the friends that you can bump ideas off of, or other colleagues. Like we all need someone, and there's a certain synergy that comes along with working and working on ideas with other people, right? So
for sure,
I like to think that hopefully I'm making things better when I get involved in the conversation. And I know externally, like when other people come into my conversation, it always gets better,
Yeah.
So anyway, well, dude, until next week, mind your business.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm going to